Again, under SANDF, there's another contract that we investigated, which relates to the interferon alpha 2B Hebron drugs. This one, Chair, it was mostly mentioned during the PPE that the defense went and procured the drugs from Cuba. So that allegation came to us. Then we investigated that allegation in order to see what procurement process was followed. And according to the allegation, they've procured 930 units of interferon alpha 2B Hebron virus drugs, and the defense paid approximately 217 million to Cuba. That was the allegation. But the purpose of the drugs was intended to be used as an immune booster to all the soldiers as they were working around to make sure that people are in the house. The department did not procure the interferon from Cuba by means of a competitive bidding process. That's the finding. And the MCC exercised the power they did not have when they approved the procurement of the drugs. In the
defunding of the National Defence Force of South Africa led to us to say the state of readiness for our defence force. We cannot guarantee that we are ready, because you are aware that we're struggling to even maintain the aircrafts, like the helicopters, which normally give cover, aerial cover, to our troops when they are under attack. So in terms of that, we hope that the Department of National Treasury and the Cabinet will rearrange some of the priorities. Remember that the government of South Africa, especially the previous 6 administration, since 1998, they focus more on social security as opposed to military security. And as a result of that, the defunding of the defense force began. But I'm happy that President Cyril Ramaphosa had publicly said we are going to move away from 0.57% of the GDP to 1.7% of the GDP. That should help our defense force.
A report in terms of our work as we prepare to host the G20, not only about the logistics but also the content of what the government of South Africa wants to pursue. You already all know the theme, but we are looking at what are those things that we want to achieve in terms of reform of global institutions, in particular the security system of the United Nations, but also global funding institutions. But we're also looking at how do we reform the funding institutions that are of South Africa, because we all know that the funding institutions of South Africa has not made an impact in funding the missing middle, which will be the teachers, your nurses, your soldiers, your police, but also funding the SMME. So we're looking at what are the reforms we need to bring there. Well, again, myself and Minister of Finance will then bring a table to the Cabinet, the Operation Vulindlela Reforms Phase 2. Remember, it was launched as we began the 7th administration, and say what are the targets that we are prioritizing to make sure that those reforms make an impact. And high on that is the work that is being led by the Department of Employment and Labor on employment creation that